Have you ever wondered if the world around you is always there? Does the moon still exist when no one is looking at it? And this might sound like a strange question, something a philosopher would ask late at night, but what if it's more than just a thought puzzle? What if the very fabric of reality, the solid ground beneath your feet and the air you breathe, only truly comes into existence when you interact with it? This isn't science fiction. It's an idea that touches on some of the deepest discoveries in modern physics and our understanding of the mind. It suggests that your world, in a very real sense, loads on tap, just like a video game, rendering a new area only when your character walks into it. This video is your guide to this mind-bending concept. We're not going to get lost in complicated math or dense scientific jargon. Instead, we'll explore this wild truth through simple, clear thought experiments you can do right now. We will look at how the simple act of looking at something can change what is there. We will uncover how your brain doesn't just see reality, but actively builds it moment by moment. The journey we're about to take will challenge what you think you know about everything. It will give you a new lens through which to see your own life, your choices, and the world you share with everyone else. Prepare to question the very nature of what is real. We'll start with the strange behavior of the tiniest particles in the universe and see how their fuzzy, uncertain existence hints at a much larger principle. Think of a spinning coin forever in motion that only lands on heads or tails the moment you decide to look. And this simple idea is a powerful metaphor for how the universe might operate on a fundamental level. It's a world of pure potential, a sea of possibilities that only solidifies into a definite state when an observer like you comes along to measure it. This isn't just a quirky fact for scientists. It has profound implications for all of us. Throughout this exploration, I promise to keep things clear and grounded. We will use everyday examples and step-by-step guides to make these big ideas feel personal and understandable. You don't need a PhD in physics to grasp the core message. All you need is an open mind and a willingness to see the world from a slightly different angle. By the end, you'll have a new appreciation for the power of your own attention and perception. You will see that you are not just a passive spectator in a pre-written play. You are an active participant, a co-creator in the grand, unfolding story of reality itself. So why should you care about any of this? Why does it matter if reality waits for you to interact with it? The answer is simple. This idea changes everything. It fundamentally shifts your relationship with your daily life, your problems, your potential. If the world you experience is not a fixed, solid thing that happens to you, but something that emerges in response to you, you suddenly have more influence than you ever imagined. This isn't about magical thinking or wishing your problems away, but it's about understanding the mechanics of perception and choice on a much deeper, more powerful level. Think about a difficult situation you're facing right now. It could be a conflict at work, a personal anxiety, or goal that feels out of reach. We often treat these situations like solid walls, unchangeable and intimidating, but what if they are more like clouds of possibility? What if the reality of the situation, its difficulty, its meaning, its outcome isn't fully formed until you engage with it? By changing how you observe it, how you frame it in your mind, and how you choose to act, you can influence what it becomes. This is where the abstract science meets the concrete art of living a better, more intentional life. This perspective empowers you to become an active experimenter in your own life. Instead of just reacting to what happens, you can start consciously testing your reality. For example, How you pay attention to a conversation can directly shape its direction and emotional tone. The assumptions you bring to a new project can literally define its chances of success or failure. By learning to see the world as a dynamic process you are involved in, you move from being a pawn of circumstance to a player with agency. This video will give you the practical tools and mental models you need to start playing this new game. Ultimately, understanding that reality loads on your command is deeply liberating. It frees you from the weight of a predetermined world and opens up a space for creativity, change, deliberate creation. It encourages you to slow down, to pay closer attention, to question the automatic stories your mind tells you about what is real and what is possible. It's a call to wake up to the role you play in every moment of your existence. So let's begin this journey together and unlock the incredible truth about your world and the power you hold to shape it. Let's begin our journey into this puzzle with a simple thought experiment. Imagine you have a special kind of coin. This isn't just any ordinary coin made of metal. It's a quantum coin. While it's spinning in the air, it isn't heads or tails. It's both at the same time. It exists in a blurry, fuzzy state of pure potential, shimmering mix of possibilities. You can't say for sure what its state is. It holds the potential to be heads and it holds the potential to be tails, existing in a strange combination of both states simultaneously. This state is what physicists call a superposition. It's an idea that challenges our everyday intuition about how things should work. Now, what happens when you decide to see the result? You reach out and slap the spinning coin down onto the table. The very moment you observe it, the moment your interaction forces it to have a single definite outcome, the blurriness collapses. Suddenly, it is no longer both the heads, tails. It is decisively one or the other. Yet, let's say it lands on heads. The act of looking, of measuring, has forced the coin to choose a state. Before you looked, it was a world of maybe. After you looked, it became a world of is. The potential transformed into a concrete reality, and it did so only because you participated. This little story isn't just a fantasy, it's a simplified metaphor for one of the most astonishing discoveries of the last century, quantum mechanics. Scientists found that the tiniest building blocks of our universe, particles like electrons, photons, behave in this exact way. When they are not being observed or measured, they don't have a definite location or a specific speed. They exist as a wave of probability, a spread out field of potential. They are a little bit here, a little bit there, moving a little bit fast and a little bit slow all at once. They are like our quantum coin spinning in a state of pure, undefined possibility until an observer comes along. This strange behavior is at the heart of what is known as the observer effect. The very act of measuring a quantum system fundamentally changes it. It's not that our measurement tools are clumsy and bump into the particles, disturbing them. It's something far more fundamental and bizarre. The reality of the particle, its definite properties, seems to be suspended, waiting for an interaction to snap it into focus. This puzzle has baffled and fascinated scientists for decades. It suggests that on the smallest scales, reality isn't a fixed, objective thing. It's a dynamic, participatory process where observation plays a starring role in creating what is real. This idea might still feel very distant, confined to the strange world of tiny particles in a laboratory. But let's bring it closer to home. How does this connect to the solid world we see and touch every day? The answer lies in understanding that everything you perceive is made of these very same particles. The chair you're sitting on the screen, you're looking at, even the air you are breathing, which are themselves made of these undecided quantum particles. On a fundamental level, The entire physical world is built upon this foundation of uncertainty and potential. It's a universe of quantum coins all spinning at once. So why don't we see our chairs existing as a blurry cloud of possibility until we sit on them? The reason is a matter of scale. A chair is made of trillions upon trillions of atoms. These particles are constantly interacting with each other and with their environment, bumping into air molecules, absorbing light radiating heat. Each one of these tiny interactions acts as a form of observation, continuously collapsing their wave of potential into a definite state. This constant chaotic measurement by the environment is what keeps the macroscopic world looking solid and reliable. The chair's reality is being constantly loaded by its surroundings, but here is where you come in. Your own act of seeing and touching is the final and most personal layer of this process. When light bounces off that chair and enters your eye, your retina absorbs those light particles or photons. That absorption is a quantum measurement. It collapses the photon's potential and sends a definite signal to your brain. Your brain then takes millions of these definite signals and stitches them together to construct the image of a solid, stable chair. Your perception is not a passive recording of a pre-existing image. It is an active process of creation, turning a storm of quantum potential into the coherent experience of seeing a chair. Therefore, in a very literal sense, the world you experience is woven into existence through your interaction with it. You are not just a spectator watching a movie that was already filmed. You are operating the projector, and the light from that projector is what makes the movie appear on the screen, moment by moment. The world's raw material is a sea of potential, and your senses are the tools that crystallize that potential into the personal reality you inhabit. Every glance, every touch, every sound you hear is an act of creation, pulling a definite world out of an indefinite quantum fog. Let's perform another thought experiment, one you can visualize in your own home. Imagine you leave your living room and close the door behind you. What is happening inside that room? Our common sense tells us that everything is exactly as we left it. The sofa is still there, the books are on the shelf, the dust motes are slowly settling on the coffee table. The room continues to exist in a fixed, definite state, waiting for your return. This is the classical view of the world, the one that feels intuitive and comfortable. But the puzzle of observation invites us to consider a wilder possibility. What if, when unobserved, the room dissolves into a state of pure potential? Not that the furniture disappears, but that its precise properties become fuzzy and undefined. The exact position of every atom in the sofa becomes a slight blur. The specific path of each dust mote becomes a wave of probability. The entire room might revert to a more fundamental quantum-like state. It becomes a superposition of all the tiny ways it could be a quiet ocean of potential states, all existing at once. Now, what happens the instant you turn the doorknob and push the door open? The moment light from the hallway floods the room, the moment your eyes register that light, you are performing a massive act of observation. Billions upon billions of interactions happen in a split second. The light photons bounce off every surface and enter your eyes, collapsing all that fuzziness back into a single concrete reality. The sofa snaps back into a definite location. The books become solid objects with sharp edges. The room you perceive is the one specific outcome that was selected from countless possibilities by your act of looking. This doesn't mean you can open the door and find an elephant in your living room. The possibilities are constrained by the room's previous state and the laws of physics, but within those constraints, there is a fundamental indeterminacy that is only resolved by interaction. This way of thinking reframes your relationship with your environment. You are not just entering a static space. You are participating in the ongoing creation of that space's reality. Every time you enter a room, you are, in a very subtle way, telling the universe what to be in that moment. You are the catalyst that turns the maybe of the unobserved world into the this of your experience. So far, we've explored how observation affects the physical world at a quantum level, but that's only half of the story. The other half happens inside your head. Your brain is not a perfect camera that simply records what's out there. Instead, it's a powerful and creative architect. It receives a constant stream of raw data from your senses, light signals, sound waves, pressure on your skin. This data is messy, incomplete, and full of gaps. Messy, incomplete, full of gaps. Your brain's job is to take this chaotic information and build a stable, coherent, and useful model of reality. It is actively constructing your world, not passively receiving it. Let's try a thought experiment. Imagine two people standing in the exact same room, looking at the exact same painting on the wall. One person is an art historian who has studied this painter for decades. The other person has never been to a museum before. Do they see the same thing? On a basic level, yes. Light from the painting enters both of their eyes, but the reality they each experience is profoundly different. The art historian sees echoes of the artist's life, the subtle techniques and the brushstrokes, the painting's place in history. Their brain is filling in the gaps with a rich tapestry of knowledge and context. The novice, on the other hand, might just see a picture of a person, a landscape, and their brain is also working hard, but it's using a different set of blueprints. It might focus on the colors, the overall mood, try to find a familiar face. It's constructing a reality based on its own past experiences, memories, associations. Neither person is wrong. Each brain has built a valid, functional reality from the same sensory input. This shows that our perception is not just about what is physically present. It's about the meaning and structure that our mind imposes upon the data it receives. This process of construction is happening all the time for every single thing you experience. When you listen to a friend talk, your brain isn't just hearing sounds. It's assembling those sounds into words, infusing them with meaning, interpreting them based on your relationship with that person. The reality of the conversation is a co-creation between the raw data, the sounds, and the architect in your skull, your brain's interpretation. You are constantly painting your own world with the colors of your beliefs, memories, expectations. What you experience as objective reality is actually a highly personalized model. We have traveled from the strange, fuzzy world of quantum particles to the intricate architecture of our own minds. Along the way, we have seen that reality is not a fixed, solid stage on which we are merely actors. Instead, it is a dynamic, interactive process, a dance between a universe of pure potential and the observing mind that gives it form. The world you experience is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you are actively participating in creating moment by moment. Your attention is the spotlight, your beliefs are the blueprint, and your actions are the final brushstrokes that bring your personal reality into focus. This is the wild and wonderful truth of your existence. This understanding doesn't hand you a magic wand to instantly reshape the world to your every whim. The laws of physics still apply, and the shared agreements of our social reality still hold immense power. However, it does give you something far more valuable: agency. It moves you from the passenger seat of your life into the driver's seat. You are not just a passive witness to a pre-written story. You are a conscious co-creator, constantly influencing the unfolding narrative through where you place your focus, the questions you ask, and the assumptions you are willing to test. The universe is not a finished statue. It is a block of uncarved marble waiting for your interaction. I encourage you to embrace this role with curiosity and courage. Become an experimenter in the laboratory of your own life. Pay attention to your attention. Question the automatic stories your mind tells you. Dare to interact with the world as if it is responsive to you, because in a very real sense it is. The practices we've discussed are not just mental tricks, they are ways of engaging more deeply and deliberately with the fundamental process of creation. They are your tools for sculpting a more intentional, meaningful, and empowered experience of being alive in this vast and mysterious cosmos. So, where do you go from here? The journey begins now, in this very moment. It begins with the next breath you take and the way you choose to perceive the world around you. Don't just take my word for it. Put this idea to the test. See for yourself how the world shifts when you engage with it differently. The ultimate takeaway is this: your reality is not something you find, it is something you make. Now pick up your tools, look at the infinite potential before you, and begin to create your world on purpose.